Unmasking the Secrets of Doping in Professional Sports. Title: Unmasking the Secrets of Doping in Professional Sports. Introduction. Professional sports hold a special place in our society, captivating audiences with breathtaking displays of skill and athleticism. Athletes are seen as sources of inspiration, role models, and symbols of human potential. However, behind the glitz and glamour of the sporting world lies a dark shadow: the secret of doping. Doping, the use of performance-enhancing substances or methods to gain an unfair advantage, has plagued professional sports for decades. In this article, we will delve into the world of doping, uncovering its secrets, exploring the consequences, and discussing how efforts to combat this issue have evolved over time. The evolution of doping. Doping is not a recent phenomenon, but rather one deeply rooted in the history of sports. In ancient times, athletes sought substances like strychnine or mushrooms to boost their performance. However, it was in the 20th century that doping began to truly manifest on a larger scale with the advent of synthetic drugs and the pursuit of human limits. One of the earliest documented cases of doping occurred in the 1904 Olympic Games, where American marathon runner Thomas Hicks was administered a combination of brandy and strychnine during the race. Since then, athletes have sought ways to gain an upper hand through the use of various substances, including anabolic steroids, stimulants, blood doping, and more. The dark side of sporting achievements. While professional athletes are often idolized for their achievements, the truth is that many have tarnished their legacy through the use of doping. The case of Lance Armstrong, the once celebrated cyclist and cancer survivor, serves as a stark reminder of the damage doping can do to an individual's reputation. Armstrong's 7 Tour de France victories were stripped from him after a lengthy investigation revealed his extensive doping practices. His fall from grace was not only a personal tragedy but also a blow to the integrity of the sport. Consequences of doping. The consequences of doping extend far beyond personal reputation. Doping compromises the principles of fair play and the spirit of competition that should be at the core of any sport. It undermines key efforts and sacrifices of clean athletes who compete honestly, tainting the outcomes and creating an unfair playing field. Additionally, the health risks associated with doping are significant. Athletes who engage in doping are subjecting themselves to potential long-term health problems, such as liver damage, cardiovascular issues, hormonal imbalances, and psychological disorders. Furthermore, the young and impressionable fans who look up to these athletes may be influenced to mimic their behavior, jeopardizing their own well-being. Efforts to combat doping. Recognizing the detrimental effects of doping, sporting organizations, governments, and various anti-doping agencies have come together to create a framework of regulations and testing protocols. The World Anti-Doping Agency, WADA, was established in 1999 to harmonize and coordinate anti-doping efforts globally. One of the most significant advancements in this regard is the introduction of extensive testing programs and the implementation of punishments for athletes found guilty of doping. Athletes are subject to random and targeted tests, both in and out of competition, aiming to detect banned substances or methods. However, as the fight against doping progresses, so does the sophistication of doping techniques. Athletes, driven by the desire for success, are constantly seeking new ways to elude detection. This has led to the emergence of designer drugs and gene doping, making the battle against doping all the more challenging. The battle against doping in professional sports continues to be an ongoing struggle. Efforts to combat this issue have come a long way, but there is still much work to be done. Doping not only undermines fair competition but also puts athletes' health at risk. The history of doping dates back to ancient times when athletes sought substances to enhance their performance. Over the years, the use of performance-enhancing substances has become more prevalent and sophisticated. The introduction of synthetic drugs in the 20th century marked a turning point in the evolution of doping. Numerous athletes have tarnished their legacies by resorting to doping. Lance Armstrong, once hailed as a cycling legend and cancer survivor, was stripped of his Tour de France victories due to extensive doping practices. Cases like Armstrong's highlight the negative impact doping can have on an athlete's reputation and the overall integrity of the sport. The consequences of doping extend beyond personal reputations. It undermines fair play and the spirit of competition, creating an unfair playing field for clean athletes. Furthermore, doping poses significant health risks to athletes, including liver damage, cardiovascular issues, hormonal imbalances, and psychological disorders. The influence of doping on impressionable fans who idolize athletes is also a concern. In response to the widespread occurrence of doping, organizations such as the World Anti-Doping Agency, WADA, have been established to coordinate global anti-doping efforts. These organizations have implemented rigorous testing programs and punishments for athletes found guilty of doping. The development of technologies such as biological passports and longitudinal profiling has improved detection on methods. However, as anti-doping efforts advance, so do the doping techniques used by athletes. Designer drugs and gene doping have emerged as new challenges, making the fight against doping more complex. As constant cat-and-mouse game requires ongoing vigilance and adaptive strategies from anti-doping agencies. To effectively combat doping, it is essential for athletes, sports organizations, fans, and society as a whole to take a united stand against it. Promoting a culture of clean sportsmanship and emphasizing the value of hard work, dedication, and integrity can help deter doping. Continued efforts to shed light on the consequences of doping and improve detection methods are crucial steps towards maintaining the purity and authenticity of professional sports. Unmasking the secrets of doping in professional sports.